Welcome to this short recording on navigating the new limits on nitrates and nitrites in Northern Ireland. My name is Nuala Sheehy and I'm the Food Standards Lead for Safety and Regulatory Compliance for the Food Standards Agency in Northern Ireland, and I'm pleased to chair today's session. Alongside me today is Niamh McCarran and Hayley O'Neill. Niamh is a Senior Policy Advisor in the Food Standards Agency in Northern Ireland, and Hayley is a Food Technologist with CAFRE, the College of Agriculture, Food and Rural Enterprise. Niamh will walk us through the key legal changes affecting the use of nitrates and nitrates as food additives in meat, fish and cheese, along with important dates for food businesses. Hayley will then cover the technical considerations and outline the support available from CAFRE to help businesses adapt. We hope that you find this useful. To begin, I will pass to Niamh.
Thanks, Nuala. Today I will discuss the new EU legislation regarding nitrate and nitrite levels in meat, fish and cheese products. I provide an overview of the key legal changes to the legislation, the time frame given to businesses to adapt to these changes, and provide guidance on what businesses need to do at this stage. So nitrites, nitrates and the law. Nitrates and nitrites, otherwise known as E249 to E252, are food additives used as preservatives to inhibit microbial growth in food such as meat, fish and cheeses. The European Commission has changed the rules on the levels of nitrates and nitrites which can be used in these foods. These changes are applicable in Northern Ireland and are based on new scientific evidence relating to public health. Just to note, in Northern Ireland, district councils ensure compliance and are the enforcement authorities. So what are the key legal changes? The new EU law, known as Commission Regulation 2023-2108, changed the levels of nitrates and nitrites allowed in meat, fish and cheeses. It was published in October 2023 and then came into force in April 2024. Businesses were given time to put these changes in place. So what actually has changed? The levels of nitrates and nitrites allowed in meat, fish and cheeses have lowered since April 2024. And also the maximum levels for lead, arsenic and mercury in nitrates and nitrites have lowered since April 2024. A window for change was then introduced to help businesses to adjust to the new changes which are being introduced on a phased basis. So firstly, for meats and fish, example ham, bacon, cured meats, the deadline is approaching rapidly on the 9th of October 2025. And then for certain cheeses, the deadlines are 9th of October 2026 and the 9th of October 2027. It is important to note that products already on the market before these dates can remain until their expiry date. So what do businesses need to do? Firstly, check products for existing levels of nitrates or nitrites, especially in products which are meat, fish and cheeses. Secondly, review the new limits under Regulation 2023-2108. Adjust nitrate or nitrite levels if needed before the transition deadlines. Label and track products to ensure compliance with durability and use-by dates. And finally, seek support if required from CAFRE or district councils, your environmental health. Hayley from CAFRE will discuss these points in more detail. Thank you for your attention. I will now pass back to Nuala.
Thank you, Niamh. Niamh's presentation outlined the changes that affect many businesses that use nitrates and nitrites in meat, fish and cheese products. Now, Hayley is going to take us through the technical considerations of these changes. The presentation focuses specifically on cured meats, which is relevant for many businesses in Northern Ireland, but these changes affect other products such as fish and cheeses, so we would urge you to check your products. I'll pass you to Hayley. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuala. Hello, my name's Hayley O'Neill and I am a food technologist at Dockery Campus Caffrey. Today I'll be sharing technical considerations for the use of nitrites and nitrates in cured meats, focusing on how we balance safety, quality and regulatory compliance in reformulated efforts. Here's what we'll cover today. First, we'll look at the compliance pathway for nitrite and nitrate regulations. Then we'll walk through how to determine compliance using some theoretical examples. We'll also explore safety and quality considerations required when reformulating cured meat products. Finally, I'll highlight the technical support available at Caffrey to help you navigate these changes and ensure compliance. This compliance pathway illustrates how you can navigate your way through the process, ensuring your products meet the new regulatory requirements, whilst also maintaining optimum safety and quality standards. Firstly, if we begin at the start of the pathway, you're going to assign the correct category based on legislation. This is to categorise your product with the correct product name, following definitions in food law and the process involved. Once you've categorised your product correctly, you can then see what the new limit is within the regulation. Here, I'd like to note that you need to ensure that you're meeting the maximum added amounts and also the residual levels left in the finished product. Next stage is to convert the ion levels to salt using the formula for comparison. So while the current maximum levels are expressed as sodium nitrite or sodium nitrate, the revised maximum levels should be expressed as nitrite and nitrate ion respectively. I will provide an example how to do this in the next slide. Once you have now converted the new ion level to salt for like comparison, you can then check this new lower limit against your current recipes and product testing reports. If you find that your product is compliant and within the new lower legal limit, there's no reformulation required. However, if you find that your product is now outside of the new lower legal limit and is now non-compliant, reformulation will be required. If after reformulation you have found that the safety or quality of your product has not been compromised, you can proceed with the updated formulation. However, if you find that the safety or quality of your product has been compromised, you need to reassess the formulation and consider potentially other alternative technologies or ingredients. Now that we've followed the correct pathways, we can explain some of these stages further. So how to determine compliance? The first point to highlight here is to demonstrate how to convert between the salt and ion forms as discussed in the last slide. The conversion factors between sodium nitrite and nitrite ion is 0.67, and between sodium nitrate and nitrate ion is 0.73. These calculations are critical for determining compliance and reformulating recipes. This example shows an old salt limit of 150 milligrams per kilogram of sodium nitrite salt in a product. If you look at the new regulations, this has now been reduced to 80 milligrams, but has been identified and expressed as milligrams per kg nitrite ion. So if I was looking at my recipe and I was trying to identify whether I met the new legal limit, I wouldn't be able to compare that because it's not like for like. I need to take the new lower limit, which is the nitrite ion of 80, divide it by 67 multiplied by 100 because of the conversion factor, 0.67, and that will now tell me that my new lower legal limit in salt format, as per industry standards, is 119.4. And you can see clearly there now that my new lower limit is 30.6 milligrams per kg less sodium nitrite salt than the old limit. So the reduction doesn't look as large when you compare the 150 to the 119.4. I've also gave the formulas to reverse that, going from salt to nitrite ion. I've also on the bottom of the table provided an example of how to convert the nitrate salt to nitrate ion respectively. So how do we determine compliance? Here we apply those conversions to product examples using bacon recipe examples. This theoretical desktop exercise helps illustrate how much sodium nitrite is typically added and what the resulting residual levels might be. It's important to ensure that both the added and residual nitrite levels fall within the new limits, especially the 45 milligrams per kg residual nitrite cap. So this table shows two examples. First recipe added 150 milligrams per kg of nitrite salt because that was the upper level of the old limit. So what I do is summarize all together in a table so that I can compare. So my added amount is 150, my old limit was 150, my new ion limit has now been lowered to 80. However, I want to convert that. Using the same number example as in the previous slide, I now know that it's 119.4. So I can automatically see there that my current recipe with 150 is higher than the new lower limit of 119.4. So it's non-compliant. I also then will double check that my maximum residual amount in my finished product is lower than the limit set in the new regulations. I can see that that has fallen within the scope, but because of the added amount being out of scope, it is non-compliant. So if I think about reformulating this and lowering it to less than 119, my new recipe's got 110 milligrams per kg of nitrite salt in the recipe, and that's within the legal limit, and also validated my end product certificate at a UCAS accredited laboratory, which has proven that I am within my legal limits in the residual product as well. So that product is now compliant. So if you find that your product is non-compliant, you will need to follow the pathway into reformulation. However, reformulating cured meats isn't just about compliance, it's also about maintaining safety and quality. From a safety perspective, functional ingredients within cured meats help control microbial growth, extend shelf life, and prevent oxidation. On the quality side, they contribute to colour stability, flavour, water holding capacity, and texture. Any reduction in nitrite levels or changes to other functional ingredients must be carefully balanced to avoid compromising these critical attributes and lead ultimately to consumer acceptance of the new reformulated product. Finally, to close, I wanted to make you aware of the technical support service that we can offer at CAFRI to help you navigate these changes. This includes confidential business support, factory visits to assist in projects on site, pilot scale trials using our curing equipment within our Food Technology Centre, sensory analysis assessment of reformulated products, and access to our chemistry and microbiology labs. We also provide industry training, including the OCN-NI Level 3 Award in Meat Technology, which includes one full module on curing technology to help build your team's expertise. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Hayley. That was very informative and shows the considerations businesses will be undertaking to implement these changes in Northern Ireland. If you're navigating through these changes and feel that you need further assistance or support, the slide which is currently on the screen provides contact details for the Food Standards Agency in Northern Ireland and CAFRI. Should you have any additional questions or require further clarification, please do reach out. We hope that you find this short recording useful. Thank you.